Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Happy Thursday. I am back bright and shiny again. So I figured out my stuff yesterday, what was going on, but because of that, we don't have a lot to talk about today. So, anyways, I thought, okay, so I'm gonna put it out here on the line. One of the important things about mental health is that sometimes it is driven by something. Sometimes sometimes it's just a mood. Sometimes it's just a mood. And I'll be honest with you, yesterday I thought perhaps it was just a mood because a lot of the subject line had been very heavy in the last week and a half, coupled with my mom's passing, everything getting really dark. But then yesterday I was thinking about that, right? Because this is the first time that, my mom's anniversary has passed, and I'm coming at it from a different angle. I'm coming at it from a very different angle. I'm out of therapy now. I've really kind of healed a lot of that stuff. And so, I thought maybe it was that, but it turns out it wasn't. Believe it or not, it wasn't. So, I've talked a few times about, my previous job, and I've referenced it. I've made mention of it. I don't want to go into too many details because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Because but let me put it this way. Tomorrow would have been my 20th anniversary there. Now I know you're thinking, Shelly Marie, it's been 5 years, but even though I grieved, and it took me a while to grieve, right? Like with my last boyfriend, it took me a long time to really move past that, to really move past all the pain, the sadness, the what ifs, the I thought it was, and this, that, and the other. And I'm not sure that this place was meant for me to be there as long as I was at. And I've been told this by different people. I've been told this, when you go in for a reading, there's something you're supposed to let go of, blah, blah, blah. But all that aside, taking the woo-woo out of it, taking the spiritual stuff out of it, but factoring in the mental health aspect. Now, a lot of people just move on, they get angry, they let it go. Unfortunately for me, with the dinged up mental health, I'm one of those people that tends to hang on to things longer than I should. So I was talking to an older sibling yesterday, because she's like, well, how are you doing? And at first I was going to isolate and stay in my room. But then I thought, no, you know what? I really want my coffee. I really want my coffee this morning. So I went down, made myself some coffee after the show, after I uploaded everything. And I was like, oh yeah, and out of the blue, she's like, well, I asked her, I said, well, what's going on? And, circumstances being what they are, we were unable to go to Colorado this year. And today is Aunt Joyce's birthday. So happy birthday, Aunt Joyce. But then it dawned on me, the date. And I thought, oh my gosh, sibling. Friday would have been my 20-year anniversary at the place I worked at. And all of a sudden it's like a light bulb went off. But then I tried to shift gears, right? I tried to say, oh, well, maybe I'm going through this, or maybe I'm going through that. But last night I sat down and journaled. And I finally forced myself to journal. And it turns out, as it were, that that was what's been bothering me the last couple of weeks. And I think it's hard because, there was a lot going on in 2019 around this time, a lot going on. And then, I come back for a couple of, I go on vacation. Actually, I would have been on vacation at this point. I would have been in Colorado. Then I came back, ended up at a funeral, and then I came back, and then it was my funeral. And it was not so much, usually when you're being released, because my position was eliminated, as they say. There's a lot I don't want to talk about because I'm not really sure I can talk about it that was sitting behind these decisions. But when you dedicate a long time to yourself, to something, not yourself, but to something that you care about, when you put your entire core being into something and then all of a sudden it's ripped away, it hurts. And so I grieved. But when my mom died, I didn't feel abandoned and I didn't feel disappointed. In fact, I might have been disappointed in the higher powers for a while because it's like, really? It's like, My mom had this thing going on inside of her all this time. Then all of a sudden, she's diagnosed and 4 months later we lose her. But it didn't feel like abandonment because my mom was very clear. When she quit chemotherapy, because there was no point. My mom was terminal with pancreatic cancer, so it just would have added maybe a year or two, if that. And she's like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this. So good morning, older sibling. Good morning, Terrence Tucker. Good morning. But before I get into what I'm going to talk about today, which is actually kind of funny, because older sibling says to me, what are you going to talk about today? And on my way up the stairs, I have no idea. But I kind of had an idea, and we'll get to that in a second. But the reason I'm explaining all of this is because you saw, I was very open about my mood yesterday. I was very open about where I was at, not in a very good mental place. And with depression, with a dinged up mental health, a lot of that can be, even if there is you're on the medication, you're on this, you're on that, you're in therapy, sometimes it's something that's buried within that needs to be, healed. And so, it's not always just a chemical imbalance, okay? Sometimes it is something that could be situational. And when it comes to those of us with a dinged up mental health, when it's situational, it could be very confusing because, am I shifting because I'm healing? Is my energy shifting because I'm healing and I'm getting better? Is it just my chemical imbalance today? Am I just having a bad day? Did I not sleep as well as I thought I did? Or is it something that I thought I'd let go of, but I hadn't? So it turned out what I was feeling as tomorrow approaches, I was feeling abandoned and I was feeling discarded, but most importantly, I was feeling disappointed. And for me, disappointment just eclipses anger, because anger is something you feel in that moment, right? Sometimes it might build, but then it just like poof. But disappointment for me, this is just my perspective, okay? This is how I see disappointment and anger. Disappointment to me is when people that you really put your trust in and you really think care about you let you down in the biggest, most amazing ways. And I think what I've been dealing with that I hadn't let go of, because I didn't want to put this on anybody else but me. I didn't want to put this on anybody except the person that kind of caused this to happen. There was a lot of disappointment. But I think the biggest part was there was a lot of abandonment. And circling back when I was talking about my mom and abandonment, I never felt abandoned by her because she was very clear on her path. My mom said, I am choosing to quit my chemotherapy. I'm stopping treatment because nothing is going to come of this. If I get 1 or 2 years, it's not going to be worth it because this is how I'm living. And my mom was barely living at that point. So I never felt abandoned by her. I felt sad, because I thought, gosh, I'm still in my early 40s and, mom's going to be gone. And what if all these amazing things happen in my life and she won't be there? But as proven the other day that I talked about, I think I talked about the Starbucks interaction. If not, I'm going to talk about that too. This is just going to be one of those random ramblings of Shelly Marie today, and coupled with maybe a couple of cards from the Isis deck, which the goddess Isis. Okay, let's not confuse it. The Rebel deck, which gets a little sweary and is my favorite, and the Beyond Lemuria. I that's just to fill time, okay, But if I didn't talk about it, the other day, Sibling and I had coffee with a friend, and it was a very empowering coffee session. Okay, I mean, this was just supposed to be a bunch of us catching up after a couple of months. We hadn't seen him since before Sibling's surgery, I believe. So, and he's become a really good friend of ours. It's just kind of a random meeting, just someone you met. And, he's a bit younger, so it's almost like kind of having like these other mentors, right? But we all sat there and we all just inspired one another. And it was almost like a meeting of the minds as opposed to, hey, let's catch up over coffee, So anyways, something made me, usually I wait to get my coffee until everybody gets their coffee. But for some reason, I just told Sibling, I'm going to get my coffee now. She's like, you're not going to wait? I'm like, no, I just want my coffee now. And I didn't know why. But we shifted seats. We moved from the table over to the corner where it was a little more cozy. And while older sibling and our friend were ordering their coffee, my coffee was done. And of course, there's people gathering around the counter, and there's this one really nice lady that, just, tats on the arms, just cool rocker shirt on. And, I mean, that doesn't make a big deal. That's not a big deal, but I want people to say this is why you should not judge a book by its cover. Because for me, she was super cool. To other people, it's like, like, they always roll their eyes at things that they don't approve of. I approve of everything, all right? But, anyways, they called my name. Now, because I mobile order, I know, I mobile ordered inside the Starbucks. Oh, let's avoid people more, Shelly Marie. But anyways, they called my name, Shelly Marie. And, of course, they yell it, right? So it's like, Shelly Marie. And she's just kind of looking around, and then I stand up, but our eyes meet. And she's just smiling so brightly at me. And I'm just kind of like, what? But, and I kind of had an inkling because somebody behind the counter a couple months ago said, oh my God, I love your name. I love your name. So anyways, I I went to pick up my drink, and she's just like, is that your full name? And I'm all, yes, but with a little m. So yes, it's one. Shelly Marie is one name, little m, which is my mom. I was channeling my mother in that moment, right? She was the defender of the full name. And she's like, oh, it's a beautiful name. And, so the whole time in my head, I'm like, boy, I said, I just really need a hug right now. And, but she's, oh, it's a beautiful name. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. My father named me, blah, blah, blah. And the little bit of, minor chit chat happened. And then all of a sudden, before she left, I'm like, can I hug you? And boy, it was the warmest hug. It was a mommy hug. And I did talk about this the other day, because I was talking about how sibling gives great hugs too. Everybody I know gives great hugs, but there was something extra special about this hug. This is how my mom used to hug me. And I really feel that my mom put this person in my path for that, saying, hey, I see you, so this, that, and the other. But, so I know she's there. I know she hasn't abandoned me, but going back to what was causing my feelings from yesterday, I really think it's the anniversary tomorrow, because it was my identity for so long. I mean, I helped with the move that we had from one floor to the next, with our big boss at the time, who has since passed away. He was, this is a guy who retired from his other job and started a company with a bunch of people, but he loved it. He loved to work. So, but, we were supervising the construction upstairs, and, I would always, hey, you want to go upstairs? Well, yeah, so I was very involved in this company. And I really felt, like this was a family to me, and to be upended by someone they barely knew, that, taking one person, it was just, I had, to put it lightly, I had a lot of work on my plate, because I did not know how to say no. And so because of that, I think they were trying to shift me into a new direction, but I didn't have the time for that. And I found out later that the person said, wow, I didn't realize how much she did. And it's like, yeah, I did a lot. It's like, and I don't want to give my personal feelings on this, which are actually, things that you perceive, and things that you actually can note and write down about people's work ethics. But I had a very good work ethic, and just a lot of different things happened, and it kind of culminated into me being let go, as they would say in England, being made redundant. And here, I wasn't fired, I was laid off, and basically told that my position was being eliminated. And, I got a nice severance package, and then of course COVID hit, so you're just kind of like, but I know for all the people out there that are going, well, geez, Shelly Marie, you should be over it. I thought I was, but this is where we go back to when we talk about our mental health, the onion layers. That was the last layer I think that needed to be peeled, because after I journaled about that last night, I had so much peace. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, it wasn't anything that I thought it was, because I thought I was over it. I thought I'd have moved past it. I thought that we covered all this in therapy, but I never talked about how I felt abandoned and how disappointed, how I was disappointed in these people that, told me they cared about me, but then just kind of turned on me, you know, and I'm sure they all had their good reasons. I still have a few friends left from the office, but yeah, for the most part, you lose all these connections. You have all these people, oh yeah, let's keep in touch, and then you never hear from any of them. And like I said, there are 3 or 4 that I still do hear from. And so over the course of time, I started kind of weeding people out of my life, like people that I didn't need, you know, that I didn't really interact with anymore. And when I say weeding them out, it's like, you know, you connect. My Facebook is closed with the exception of the lives because it's my personal space. It's where my people are. I do my best not to post politics on there. I do my best to just kind of just be Shelly Marie on this site, you know. So, you know, just post the positive stuff and the daily happenings and this, that, and the other. So it's just kind of that personal space that you have. And I started weeding, but even then it didn't click. But like I said, last night it finally came to a head as tomorrow approaches. And I realize now that I'm in a much better place than I used to be. My circumstances that surround me right now could be improved by leaps and bounds, and some of it isn't for lack of trying. Some of it is just, I don't know, bad luck, or maybe the bad vibes, or maybe I needed to cut this final cord so that, you know, everything can kind of pick up, everything can really kind of happen, you know, and just start growing. You know, it's like the last weed in the garden that needed to be pulled, of healing and pain and sadness and disappointment and abandonment and anger. And I feel like I've covered them all now. So I really think that now I'm going to move forward with a different vibe, a different energy. And when it comes to having a dinged up mental health, I think it's very, very important that we do check in with ourselves when we have these low moments. You know, yesterday I practiced full self-care. You know, I didn't feel like I needed to sit there with anybody. I went upstairs. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube. I have this weird ASMR addiction to soap crunching. You know, I know it's from my ears and my nerves, just hearing the sounds. I'm a very sound type person, sound driven. And I just love to hear the sounds, and they just kind of rocked me off to sleep. So I got a nap, and when I woke up, I felt a little better, but there was still something gnawing at me, and those weird tics I talked about that I get when something just kind of hangs in there. And I again, like I said, I thought I covered everything, but I hadn't. And then when I journaled about that, I noticed the tics went away. You know, those little throaty things and the weird body shakes that I get, because my body knows when something is bothering. My body knows when something needs to come up and out. And by the time it gets to my throat, which is our voice box, right? It's saying, it's time, but you have to figure out what it is. And I did. So to older sibling for helping me figure that out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm going to have time for these cards. I don't want to make this too long because I just kind of rambled on there. But I do love this deck. This is one of my favorite decks in the Rebel deck. The Oracle with an Attitude. Now, I'm not really doing the Oracle reading today. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to change up the Oracle a little bit. So I know Fridays are normally Aloha Oracle Friday, but too many messages too close together can get dangerous. So what I'm going to do is maybe every other Friday, either come up with an Aloha Friday theme, do the oracles, and what do you call it? And do guidance, oracle guidance. So use the cards like the Lemuria and the Isis cards, or the spirit guide ones, or the life purpose cards. So it's not always going to be about oracles and, ooh, let's talk about what's my future like. It's going to be things that we can turn to help guide us in these things. All right. And then, like I said, so I'm going to try to figure something out. So every other Friday will probably be like the oracle guidance. Every other Friday will be the Aloha Oracle itself, and then every other Friday I'm going to try to come up with a Aloha theme. All right, I mean, it is the Aloha Perspective. I should probably pay some attention to my culture. So yeah, so let's just, wow, I got to read that one first. That one was like, read me. It's all right, and then we'll finish with the morning affirmators. So, whoa, there's some good ones in here. A lot of F-bombs, guys, so, mind your ears. This is the one that flew out. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. So there you go. You were a grown-ass adult. Stop blaming others for your shit. That feels appropriate, doesn't it? That does. When I was talking about what happened to me, it is partially my fault because I did not stand up and say, hey, enough. But a lot of times that was fear driven because, you know what, you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to seem like you're not a team player. And at the time I was, you know, I'm a recovering people pleaser. But at the time I was not a recovering people pleaser. So I just tried to do everything. I just tried to, you know, be the mama bear of the office. And that obviously didn't work out. There are going to be times when it is not just our fault. All right. But I get this. I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't defend myself. I wasn't given the opportunity to do so. But there are situations where we do tend to, you know, blame other people without, you know, blaming ourselves. For instance, okay, so I do take my responsibility in that. And that's good because maybe that's the last period of that sentence that I needed was to say, hey, Shelly Marie, if you would have spoken up for yourself, not just about one thing, but about everything, maybe things would have turned out differently. All right. But I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. As much as people hate that term, I generally hate that term too. But in the course that my life has gone, it feels very appropriate. However, there is a show that Sibling and I watch. I'm not going to say which one, but there is a show that Sibling and I watch. And there's this one person who blames everybody. Sibling's going to know because we just watched it yesterday. Blames everybody for their problems but themselves. They have been caught on camera saying mean things. You know, I'm not really one that watches reality shows, but this one, I'm so addicted to, it's not even funny. But they blame everybody else for all their problems. Even though they've been caught on camera saying horrible things to these people, saying nasty things to these people, and then they wonder why these people just walk away in the other direction. And it's kind of mind-blowing, you know, because I sit there and it's like, I try so hard not to yell at the TV, but I sit there and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? It's like, you are a disgrace to Capricorns, you know? So, but anyways, take accountability. Taking accountability will be your redeemer. All right. It will set you free. Take accountability. In fact, I'm going to journal about that because just circling back to this card, I told Sibling I got the feel it, which I did yesterday. Honor it, which I figured out what it was that was bothering me. But I said, I still haven't gotten to the heal it or release it part. So that's going to be it. Take my accountability, but also have my disappointment and all the issues that it caused and whatnot, and how it was just kind of teamwork that happened. But there are going to be times where people are going to say, stop blaming other people for your problems. Sometimes other people are the cause. I'm not saying that's in my case. Like I said, if I would have had the opportunity to speak up for myself, or if I would have spoken up for myself sooner or earlier, if I had really, really kind of believed that this was coming, I saw it coming. I saw it coming a mile away. I did. After I opened up about one specific thing, I saw it coming a mile away. It's almost, even my dad says you shouldn't have mentioned that. You know, and I'll be honest with you, I mentioned my mental health. And my mental health was fine. But because I was under so much stress and under so much, you know, just this pile of work just being thrown at me and not being able to say no, my anxiety was peaking. And so I tried to be honest about it, and it just spiraled out of control from there. So in a way, that was my fault as well. My dad told me, though, not everybody's ready to hear that. So, and we had some issues in the office beforehand, and I think everybody just kind of knee-jerked and panicked. So, you know, just use precaution, all right? Our HR was absolutely useless. So that's why, for everybody saying, well, why didn't you go to HR? It's like, our HR was useless. They had no idea how to handle this. But anyways, have you eaten? You're acting like a big-ass baby. You need food in your belly. Eat a fucking taco. See what I mean? I love these cards. So if you're cranky and you have not eaten, you probably are struggling with low blood sugar. So go eat something. Eat your fucking vegetables. All right. That goes right after that one, right? Eat your fucking vegetables. Now, I'm gonna say this. There are vegetables in tacos. Oh, you could kill two birds with one stone. Eat some shit made by Mother Nature. All right. I love that, right? Eat your fucking vegetables. Eat some shit made by Mother Nature. Excuse me. Everything we eat, unless you're a vegan, is pretty much made by Mother Nature. And actually, if you're a vegan, even that stuff is kind of made from Mother Nature. I mean, they're not eating plastic. They're eating stuff that's not traditionally cooked in a certain way, right? Though, but meat is made by Mother Nature. Vegetables are made by Mother Nature. Milk, dairy, wine. Wine is made by Mother Nature. Beer, all the stuff that I know, right? I'm going with it. I'm going with it. So anyways, but yeah. And I would just like to point out that a lot of vodka is made out of potatoes, which are vegetables. So Shelly's back. Shelly Marie is back, and she's not giving good advice today. She's giving terrible advice. Do not listen to me. Stop texting, stop stalking, stop checking on that person. Just fucking stop. All right. Whoops. Spend your time on someone worth it. Don't waste it on ridiculousness. There you go. Don't waste it on ridiculousness. Yeah, if you're putting all your attention towards someone that's not, if it's very unrequited, turn your focus on someone else. In fact, this is where self-love can really come in. When you learn how to love yourself, you stop looking for outside value. You stop looking for your worth to be, measured by what someone else thinks it is. Use your own gauge. Learn how to love yourself. Learn that self-love. That way, when you do find somebody, when you do find friends, even, it could be platonic, it could be romantic, whatever it is, you're giving the best of yourself because you're not placing your value in other people's hands. You're not being a people pleaser. I know I'm a recovering people pleaser. And when I say recovering, I still fall off the wagon. But if someone's not paying attention, stop paying attention to them. Sometimes that works. I'm not kidding. Sometimes that works. When you stop paying attention, they start noticing it. They're like, oh, wait, so, I'm going to save this one for last because that's a really, really good one. Oh, this is a good one too. Believe what you see. Face reality or live in fucking la la land. Choose bravely. And that goes with this one. Fuck fear. You heard me. It will lie to your face. So, fuck fear, it will lie to your face, but believe what you see. Face reality or live in fucking la la land. Choose bravely. Choose bravely to screw fear, right? To screw fear. That's what we want to do. We want to look fear in the face and go, right? Give it the raspberries, just saying, no. I'm over you. I'm over you, fear. And that's something I really need to do. I really need to do that. Oh, you know what? This one was sitting right on top. So I'm going to read this one last. I'm going to do the morning mantra, and then I'm going to read that one last because that one is amazing. You are going to love it. You are going to love it. And I think, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my topics coming up, but I think we might do the body positivity again, or maybe I'll do one of those, what is it? When I did those, remember when we did the 28 days of self-love or whatever, and we talked about it? Maybe we should start that again. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun because it kind of goes with this one. So you have the mild version and the very strong version. So think of it as like coffee, right? You got the nice cup of coffee. You're just sitting there with your cream and sugar, and then you got the espresso with nothing in it. So I'm the only me I've got. So I'm going to speak lovingly to myself from sunup to sunup. That means extra compliments, hold the critical anxiety spirals. All right, so let me read that again. I'm the only me I've got. Self-love, self-care, self-acceptance, self-worth. So I'm going to speak lovingly to myself from sunup to sunup. That means extra compliments, hold the critical anxiety spirals. And then the little tiny post-it notes say, you look better than average. You sure can make a lemon square. What is that? You look better than average. You're amazing. All right. Come on, card. Do better. Anyways, you sure can make a lemon square. Lemon squares are amazing. I'm not a big lemon fan, but when you have a lemon square that is amazing and blows your mind, wow. And wow, you're good at compliments. Wow, you're good at compliments. So let's do this one. You are talented and fucking amazing. You are talented and fucking amazing. The world needs your power. Use your voice. Just don't use it for dumb shit. Oh my God. That's so funny. You know, it's been so long since I've seen these cards. I forgot half of them. But I love that. You were talented and fucking amazing. The world needs your power. Use your voice. Just don't use it for dumb shit. All right. So there you have it. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to do guidance cards instead of the actual oracle. I will do the yes or no's in the morning, so have no fear. It'll partially be there. But I will do that just while I wait for people to come on. But the oracle guidance, it's really good. Like I said, you have the Beyond Lemuria, and you have the Isis oracle, the goddess Isis, the goddess Isis. And then I'll pull some other ones. I have this great deck with like spiritual type leaders. So if you're shopping for a deity or a couple to fill that spiritual table of yours, look no further. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so, so much for watching. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. I know I'm kind of goofy today. My personality has probably come out more today because, I wasn't dealing with any specific subject. I was just kind of winging it, just kind of, doing what I do, just doing the do, as my cousin would say, doing the do. But I really thought it important yesterday to come on and kind of showcase how, the mental health struggle can be, whatever it was. I didn't know what it was yesterday morning when I did the show, but I knew what it was by the end of the night. And I definitely knew what it was by the start of this show. From sunup to sunup, right? So I think it's important for us when we have, especially if you have a dinged up mental health, okay? If you have the blues and you do not have a dinged up mental health, you probably realize what is, creating this issue. But if you have a dinged up mental health and, you have these moods where suddenly you're just kind of like, oh, it's very important for us to go within and see, is this just a mood today? Or is this something that's driving? Is there something that's driving my mood? Is something driving this mood? So, and a lot of times it may not just happen overnight. I work very hard now to keep myself from spiraling. So, but yeah, like I said, I instead of isolating yesterday, I talked a little bit with older sibling, just randomly. She's like, "Do you want to talk?" No. But then we just started chatting about something else. And like I said, I noticed she was thinking heavily on something, and then again, like I said, that kind of led to me remembering what the date was, and it's like, oh my gosh. So, it was actually driven by something yesterday, and that's why today I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling more like myself because I've identified the issue, and now I'm getting it up and out. So don't be afraid to go deep, okay? Carl Jung, one of my new favorite quotes from Carl Jung: he who looks within, or he who looks outside dreams. He who looks within awakens. All right? So you can change it to fit you however you want. If you look outside, you're gonna dream. But when you look within and you start seeing what you're made of, you start healing all the stuff inside, you're going to awaken. All right? And I feel like I have been in a very long awakening process, and who knows, like I said, that could have been the exclamation point of that sentence saying, hey, we finally figured out this one thing, and let's move forward and let's move forward now. It's light speed. Don't let anything hold you back anymore. All right. Remember, fuck fear, because it lies to you. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Again, tomorrow I'll be back here for Aloha Oracle Guidance Friday tomorrow. So it's going to be a little bit different than just reading cards and giving messages and reading from the book. We're going to talk about, like deities and different, type of guidance. And so if you're struggling with certain things, please feel free to come in. I always work from a good place. It's a safe space. I work with archangels. I know if you don't believe in archangels, it's okay. Think of them as large fairies. All right. So have a great day again, everybody. I'll see you back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. All lives are public on Facebook under Shelly Marie Lucas. Seriously, what is wrong with me right now? Also, if you want to watch the replay, I do post these to TikTok and I do post these up to YouTube. Still haven't figured out how to fit a long video onto Instagram, but one day I will probably get off my ass and just do a shorter version for Instagram. But I also share the links to Twitter. So again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.